let's do another synthetic division problem. We're going to divide 2x cubed plus 7x squared minus 13x minus 3 by 2x minus 3. So for synthetic division, we're going to take our coefficients, just the numbers, no letters, and write them out. 2, 7, negative 13, negative 3. We're going to set this equal to 0 and solve it. Add 3 and divide by 2, so x equals 3 halves. And we put 3 halves in a box out front and put a line a little bit below. We drop down the first number and multiply it by the number out front here. 3 halves times 2, the 2's cancel, and we get 3. 7 plus 3 is 10. Adding down. We multiply 10 times 3 halves. 10 divided by 2 is 5 times 3 is 15. Write the answer here. Add down, we get 2. 2 times 3 halves is 3. And negative 3 plus 3 is 0. This one's nice. We can see that because our remainder is 0, that this is a factor of this polynomial. We can write it 2x squared plus 10x plus 2. Here's our constant, our x term, and our x squared term. Because it is a factor, we could say that this times 2x minus 3 equals our original polynomial. I'm going to write it below because I'm kind of out of room there on the side. 2x3 plus 7x squared minus 13x minus 3. So by doing this synthetic division, we were able to factor this cubic polynomial. Now, if we wanted to factor further, we could try to factor this. If it doesn't factor, we could use the quadratic formula to solve it. So what we have done is we've got a way to take a cubic function and factor it further, so that we can see if there's a remainder of 0, then it is in fact a factor of the dividend, the polynomial. Okay, so let's do another one. Okay, so now let's divide 3x to the 4th plus 18x cubed minus 3x plus 40 by x plus 7. So I'm going to write my coefficients. 3, 18, oh, there's no squared term, I need a 0, negative 3, and 40. So that's what makes this example different, is there's no squared term, so we have to put in a 0 to hold that place. If you don't put that 0 in, you won't get the right answer. So do make sure that every term is represented by a number. X plus 7 equals 0 gives us negative 7. Drop down the first number. Negative 7 times 3 is negative 21. Add, that is negative 3. Multiply, positive 21. Add, 21. Multiply, 7 times 2 is 140. plus 7, negative 147. Added is negative 150. And multiplying, that's going to be 700 plus 35. Negative times a negative is positive. 700. Oh, that's 350. So 700 plus 350 is 1050. Negative times negative is positive, and add 1090. If we were to write that, see here is, we could write this times this. So we could write, the factored form of this would be this constant x squared, x cubed, 3x cubed minus 3x squared plus 21x minus 150, 50, multiplied by x plus 7 plus a remainder. This is called the division algorithm. So we have, well, if we multiply this by this and add the remainder, then we will get our original polynomial. That is the divisor times the quotient plus the remainder. Let's see, the divisor times the quotient plus the remainder. Divisor. Okay. Number 44, page 6, in the OpenStack books. This is on page 400. Number 44. The instructions say, by the way, OpenStax is a free online college algebra book, algebra and trigonometry. For the following exercises, use the graph of the third degree polynomial and one factor to write the factored form of the polynomial suggested by the graph. The leading coefficient is 1. That's nice that they tell us the leading coefficient is 1. And they give us a graph, and it looks like it's going through negative 1, 0, and it has the 6, it goes through here, and goes through a point here, 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 something like this. And it tells us that x squared minus x plus 3 is a factor. And it wants us to find the third degree polynomial. If x squared plus x plus 3 is a factor, we also know that this is minus 1, negative 1. So that is a factor of x plus 1. So we have y equals x plus 1 times the factor they give us, x squared minus x plus 3. So we have just factored, since they gave us this factor, we can get the other factor from the graph. We have given the factored form of our polynomial. What if a question is written as a fraction? 4x cubed minus 33 over x minus 2. 4x cubed minus 33 over x minus 2. Well, a fraction is the same as dividing. So we can divide this using synthetic division. Notice there's no squared or x term, so we're going to need to put zeros in there. So I'm going to write my numbers. 4, that's for the cubed, 0x squared, 0x minus 33. We're going to divide that by x minus 2, but here we're going to set that equal to 0, solve, so we're going to put 2 in our box for synthetic division. We're going to drop down the 4, multiply by 2, 8, add 8, multiply by 2, 16, add, multiply by 2, 2 times 16 is 32, add negative 1. It did not divide evenly. Alright, so we can use that divisor times the quotient plus the remainder form to write our answer. We could say that this is equal to 4x squared plus 8x plus 16 times x minus 2 minus 1. So synthetic division is a nice way to be able to factor. If we know a factor, then we can divide by the number when we set that equal to 0 and get it smaller. So if we needed to, we could even factor further, possibly. Like this would factor further. We're not going to do that right now, but we could at least divide by 4 and then see if that polynomial factors further.